Awesome. So I'm 27. I'm primarily an electronic dance music DJ and producer. I'm also a creative entrepreneur, and I own a bunch of companies that do a few things. You just heard about them. But primarily, I perform live music as a DJ, and I compose my own music in the studio. That's something I started doing in GEC. I graduated in June or July 2011. That's 6 years ago. Mechanical engineering, anybody from mech here? Yeah? All right, cool. So yeah, I graduated 6 years ago from GEC. I started DJing in high school, but I really got into it when I was in college. I actually have a picture from college, if you play the next slide. Yeah, so that's me at the Gymkhana here in GEC. All right, that's April 2008. That was the end of my first year when we kind of put this hop together, as you know what they call it, and then we did some more in at the Pharmagudi Circle at Atish Hotel, and all of those kind of things. The really funny thing is I actually posted this picture on my Facebook page yesterday, just with a caption that I'm so honored to come back to GEC and kind of talk to everyone and see all the old faces and everybody. And somebody commented on this picture on my Facebook page with another picture. And I took a screenshot of that picture, and I'm going to show you the picture the comment that these guys wrote, if you play the next slide. Yeah, that is what somebody commented with on my photo, which is kind of what I do right now. So this is like perfect, kind of like the perfect trajectory between over these 9 years. I went from playing Gymkhana to a few hundred people to kind of playing a slightly bigger stadium to about 10,000 people, and that's kind of what I do today. So when I was asked to come to TED and speak, I was obviously very honored and very humbled and very excited to see everyone. But I had a few different things I wanted to talk about. I said maybe I can kind of open up my laptop and show everybody how I make music and what my songwriting process is. But that would have gotten a bit technical and complicated. Somebody then suggested that maybe I should come here and talk about my life, but that's something I really, really dislike doing, so I decided not to do that at all. And then I decided that I'm going to come out here today and talk to you guys about a few tools and ideas that have kind of helped me over the past few years, and hopefully I hope these will help and inspire you as well, right? Let's go to the next couple of slides. Let me talk to you about the first thing that I really value with my life. Time. So time is a really, really beautiful resource and commodity. The beauty of time is that every two human beings in the world have exactly the same amount of time available every day. Whether it's 24 hours or 1,440 minutes or 86,400 seconds, to the same second, whether you're an engineering student at GC or you're Roger Federer or you're Elon Musk, it doesn't matter. Everybody has access to the same amount of time every day, which is pretty intense because that's a very level playing field, right? In world, we're usually used to having a skewed or a biased level playing field rather. But the beauty of time is it all depends on what you do with your 24 hours. And I decided to view time a little differently since I was a kid. And to kind of explain my approach and my analogy to time, I'm going to draw up a very cliche and overused analogy, which is time is equal to money, right? I'm sure has everybody heard this before? Like time is equal to money. This is something people keep telling you all the time. This is very common. But to kind of understand how I work with time, let's just talk about money for a minute, and then we'll extrapolate that concept and take it back to time. So with money, everybody tells you, you should save money, and you save that money, you invest that money, and over the years, at the end of your life, or when you retire, that money will grow into more money, and then you'll be able to live a comfortable retirement, right? If we extrapolate this concept to time, the premise being that when you're 60, you should not be working 12 hours a day. You should be working 2 hours a day, okay? Which means that at an early age, if you start investing time to create more time, then it follows the same principle with money, right? But that's easier said than done. How do you invest time to create more time? And the key to that, or at least my key to that, is optimization. Every task that we perform can be optimized and refined, outsourced, or condensed to help us save time, which effectively creates time. Let me give you a very rudimental, basic example. Let's talk about a simple calculator. Let's rewind 50 years ago. Actually, no, let's just go back 30 years. 30 years ago, if you walked out of a store and you saw the shopkeeper at the end of the day in the evening sitting with a list of 50 numbers and adding them up, you would be like, that's a hardworking man there. You know, he's spent his whole day in the shop and now he's doing his accounts and he's adding up all his numbers. But today, if you walk past the same store and you see this guy adding up 50 numbers, you're just going to be like, what's wrong with this guy? Why is he not using a calculator? You know, in 30 years, a calculator has gone from being a luxury to a necessity, and it's something we take for granted. And that's something I feel that we're all kind of failing in life to do, is to take everyday tasks that we have to do and automate them, optimize them, whether it's using technology or it's using more efficient processes. You can then condense your day into a much shorter day, and that's when you create more time to start pursuing what you really want to do. People come up to me all the time, and they're like, I'm 18, I want to become a DJ or I want to become a musician, but my parents want me to go to college, and I don't want to go to college because if I go to college, then I won't have time to become a musician. And I'm like, that is absolutely incorrect. In my case, when I was in the third year, I was already playing shows around the country. I used to attend class from Monday to Friday, skip class on Friday afternoons. The teachers here don't know that. Fly out, play a couple of shows in the weekend, come back on Sunday, and go to class on Monday, kind of, right? So it's absolutely possible to be able to do 2 or 3 things simultaneously. It all really boils down to how you condense your time and optimize that and use that really well. The next thing I want to talk to you about is value. So when we perform a task, or when we start a new business, or we make a film, or we paint a piece of art, you know, or write a piece of music, we're adding value to the world. The most immediate gain that personally we receive is monetary value. Usually the creator is rewarded monetarily with whatever he does. But there is an underlying secondary value, which is always there, but not really apparent to all of us. And that is the humanitarian value of a task, right? When you perform a certain task and when you're able to put a smile across somebody else's face, that actually affects you back in such a positive way that that is a very, very strong and constant source of inspiration for you. When you start doing something different, when you try and venture out on your own, you will reach a point of time where you begin to question yourself. And you're like, you know, what am I up to? It happened to me. When I decided to pursue music seriously, all my friends had master's degrees and corporate jobs, and I was like, you know, what am I doing? Am I really, you know, is this the right move? And when I go and play shows, I come back home to my hotel sometimes at 2 in the morning. I have to wake up at 5 in the morning, get out of my hotel at 6 a.m. to make it to a 7 a.m. flight, and do that 3 days back to back. And when you're looking for that real source of constant inspiration, looking at your bank balance at that point of time is not going to help you. What you really need at that point of time is some source of human inspiration. And that inspiration will come to you if you actually add value to people's lives and you're able to make a positive difference and impact on their lives. Let's go to the next thing. The next idea is diet. Well, I'm not going to talk to you about like a dietary diet, even though I genuinely do advocate eating and like living healthy, but that's a whole different TED talk. We can do that for another half an hour. The diet I'm here to talk to you about today is what we consume. And when I mean what we consume, it's what we consume with our eyes and our ears. We live in an age today where everybody has access to social media. All of us have smartphones. In today's age, on social media and conventional media, there's an immense amount of negativity and misinformation. And what we choose to consume, right? What we choose to consume is who we are. Most people think that we live normal lives and there's no art in our life, but that's incorrect. There's art in the way you dress. There's art in the way you speak, in the way you brew your coffee. There's art in what you choose to read, what you choose not to read, what you choose to listen to. And when you consume the right things, or when you regulate what you consume, that really shapes who you are as a person, right? That can really define you. So today, I implore you that when we talk about going on a diet, we're like, oh, listen, I need to lose weight for a week. I'm not going to eat sugar for a week, or I'm going to stay off alcohol for a week because I want to slim down, or I've got a big wedding coming up. But why don't we all try, and I've actually tried this, and it's great. Go on a social media diet for a week, okay? Get off your Facebook, get off WhatsApp, mute all the groups that keep sending you forwards, right? And instead, go back to just listen to music don't listen to music on your computer, listen to music on a CD player, like CDs from your childhood. Pick up a book, just read a fiction book from the 80s or the 90s, right? Just switch things around, because that is the future, right? We're reaching this point in time where everything is accelerating and everyone's trying to compete to reach this goal. But there is no goal, really. Like, humanity has no goal. Everyone is living a completely independent life. Everyone has completely different sets of skills. And what you need when you feel that you're maxing out and that you're burning out is you need to reset yourself, okay? And the reset is all within us. You have the reset within you. You just don't know where it is. We've all had, through childhood, we've read books, and we used to go out and play. All we need to do is go and seek some of those memories back. Bring some of that stuff from the past back. It's very refreshing. There's a wealth of information lying in books, in TV, in film. Go dig out some of the stuff. Give up some of the stuff you do on a daily basis, like give up your daily soaps for a week. Go back and read some of the classics. Watch some of the classics. That will really change the way you think, the way you breathe, and I'm pretty certain it will inspire you to a new level. Coming down to pretty much concluding my talk is what the title of my talk is. I think we have one more, yeah. Cool, this is the title of my talk, From the Classroom to the Dance Floor. And I kind of also went through various iterations of what I wanted to say to you today along this title. But the summary of my talk is that I am one of you, and if I can do it, you can do it, right? You have to understand, you probably won't realize this now, but as engineers, even if you graduate and get out of engineering college and choose not to pursue engineering, you will forever in life be able to view things and solve problems with an analytical ability that most people can't. And that is an immense gift. You won't realize this now. Like now it may sound like you just need to worry about your internals. But trust me, 3 years down the line when you get out of college, you'll realize this. The second biggest thing is most of you today here are 21 or under 21. That is very powerful. In the next 1 year, you can take up 5 jobs, fail at all 5 of them. Your friends may laugh at you, your parents may brush you off, but it doesn't matter because you can't do that when you're 30. If any of those 5 jobs click, if you succeed with even one of them, then you will have an alternate career before you even graduate from college. And that is something that's really, really powerful. It'll give you an edge over everybody else. I'm going to conclude with this story I read a few years back in a really short book. It speaks about this wise old man who lives up on this hill, and he is kind of like a saint, And this little boy, he takes this bird in his hand, and he closes his fist, and he goes up to the saint, and he asks him, I've got this bird in my hand. Can you tell me, is this bird alive or dead? And the old man looks at the boy, and he's like, he realizes that if he says the bird is alive, then this boy will crush the bird in his hand and kill the bird. But if he tells him that this bird is dead, then he'll open his hand and the bird will fly away. So there was basically no way the saint could be right. So he told the boy that the answer to your question is in your hands, and you decide that. It's the same with your dreams. The answer to your dream is in your hand. You can choose to clench your fist and kill your dream, or you can choose to open your fist and let your dreams fly away. You are the future, and only you can decide what you want to do with it. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you today. Thank you so much for this opportunity.